This is Andrew Logue with the Des Moines Register. Wanted to ask Josh, what do you see in Northern Iowa as far as their perimeter and what they're able to do, maybe shooting-wise, or just kind of give me your scouting report on Northern Iowa's perimeter players?
They're a very well-rounded team, both inside and out. But as far as their perimeter shooters go, they're D1 athletes, and they shoot a very high percentage. They have Jesperson, Buss on the outside, their point guard. All of them can shoot the ball, so we're going to have to do a good job covering that if we hope to get a win.
Does their length, have you, not being familiar with your schedule, have you played a team with as, I guess, tall a perimeter players or as rangy, kind of matchup-wise?
I think we just played a team in San Diego State, with Winston Shepard out on the perimeter and even Quinn and Keller. Pretty good size for a guard, but we're just going to still play our game and worry about what we need to do and take what they give us.
Right here. And then here next, Steve.
Robert Gagliardi, the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. Guys, I know we've talked a lot this season how you always approach every game the same, but with being such a big stage, has it been a little different this week, or has it been, as we said, business as usual a lot?
So anyone you'd like first to answer?
Or for any of them, please.
Coach is kind of an old-fashioned type of guy, and so he doesn't want to make this game any bigger than any of the rest. It's really been the same kind of preparation, go over first couple of days, it's all about us, and then now when we starting to get closer to the game, we start game planning, preparing for what we're going to do against them.
Okay.
Mike Farrell, Casper Star Tribune. Riley, we talked earlier this week about, you were on that cloud nine for a little while there. At what point were you able to turn the page and say, okay, we've got another basketball game here?
Probably when we first got to practice and compete against each other. You kind of come back down to, earth and you kind of compete with each other, and you get the competitive side out of everybody, and that's what we did for a couple days now. And now we've just been focusing on Northern Iowa.
Jesse Horn, KGWN-TV, Cheyenne. Larry, a lot of the attention going on since the selection round has been focusing on your matchup with Tuttle. Just kind of talk about what that's going to be kind of like, what you've seen so far. Now we're close to the game, and just what kind of player he is, either in comparison or contrast to how you think you play.
There's been a lot of similarities drawn between us two, but I've really tried not to pay attention to it. I mean, he's a terrific player on a terrific team, and I'm going to do my best individually to slow him down, but I know there's going to be four guys behind me ready to help. This isn't Larry Nance versus Seth Tuttle. It's Wyoming versus Northern Iowa, so that's all I'm concerned about.
Matthew Fabian from the Branding Iron. Josh, you guys said it was like having a home game in Vegas with Cowboy Nation, how they showed up. And the Cowboy allotment sold out in 44 minutes on Monday morning. What would it mean for you guys to have another home atmosphere here in Seattle?
It would mean as much as it did at the conference tournament. A big thing for us, not only bringing these 5 seniors here, but bringing Wyoming to the tournament with us. It's been a long time coming, and these guys, myself included, this entire team and staff and program has worked their tails off to get us back here, and here we are. So it would mean a lot, not only to have them at our backs, but to bring them an opportunity like this as well. That enjoyment of the NCAA tournament.
Tom Kinsler, Denver Post. Larry, what does Tuttle look like on film? What strikes you about him? His game, what does he do well?
He's a very crafty player. A lot of up and unders, hooking in the post, and got a good right hand hook shot. So that's really what I'm going to be focused on, taking away his right hand, and trying not to foul too much, because he's with those crafty guys comes knowing how to get fouls, and then I got to stay out of foul trouble.
Mike Farrell, Casper Star Tribune. Josh, obviously this is all your first time here on this stage, but it's a business trip also. How do you kind of balance, enjoying this moment and how unique this is, but also remaining focused, on this opponent?
I think it comes with recognizing when it's time to focus and recognizing when it's time to be happy. Coach always says happy is for March, so there's no reason we shouldn't, enjoy every second of being here. But when we step on the practice floor or into the locker room for pregame or whatever it may be for film, I think this group is very mature and has a lot of experience, and we know when the right time to focus is and the right time to enjoy it is.
Robert Gagliardi, the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. For Riley or Larry, I know it's a new experience for you guys in this tournament, but Coach Shyatt has been here. A lot of the assistants have NCAA tournament experience. Is there anything they've been able to tell you or show you to kind of calm the nerves or just give you some hints of what this is like, whether it's this press conference, games, this and that? Have they been able to share any knowledge with you in that regard?
Let's have Riley.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Riley. Take that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think he's been, telling us to focus and, also enjoy the moment. Like Josh said, there's times to enjoy it and there's time to focus. So they've kind of just been harping that on us and just getting us prepared. I mean, it's going to be fun. We just got to go out there and have some fun and play the game.
Luke Baby and Branding Iron. In preparation for the Mountain West tournament, Larry Shyatt had you guys cut down the nets to practice winning the Mountain West tournament. Has he done any unorthodox things to prepare you guys for this upcoming tournament?
Like we talked about before, I mean, that was kind of a special situation just because that's what we knew we had to do to get here. And Coach Shyatt's, like I said before, a very old-fashioned, rule book type of guy, and so he's just approaching this game like he would a regular season game against a conference team. It's been nothing but business since we found out our matchup with him, and we expect nothing but that.
Riley, I wanted to ask you, as a shooter, what's it like going in a different arena, different environment, or whatever? We all talk about it. As a shooter, does that really matter? Is that overplayed, or does what you're seeing out there, does it affect your shot?
No, I don't think so. I think what my dad has taught me is shooter's all about thinking. If you think you're gonna miss, or if you're thinking about your shot, if you're thinking about your feet, if you're thinking about your arm, whatever it is, you're thinking about your balance, you're gonna miss it. You just gotta go out there, and it's all about repetition. If you got a lot of reps up, then you're gonna be a great shooter.
Tom Kinsler, Denver Post again. Larry, can you take us back to junior high and you were having trouble gaining weight? You weren't growing like you thought you were until you got diagnosed with the illness. Could you picture today, at that time? Take us back to that.
I mean, at that point, I never really thought I'd be sitting here with these guys, but after going through all that and what we've been through together these past 3-4 years in college, I wouldn't take any of that back. This is an awesome feeling, and I'm happy to be here.
Matthew Fabian from the Branding Iron. Larry, you guys have played a lot of minutes. You guys played a ton of minutes in the Mountain West tournament, 35 plus for all of you starters. Are you guys feeling refreshed, feeling good going into Seattle here, going against UNI?
Of course. I mean, this is our first time playing in a tournament. We're going to have fresh legs. We're going to be ready.
Tom Kinsler, Denver Post again. Riley, how has Larry evolved and developed, your time with him?
He's just grown as an individual on and off the court. You can see it off the court. He cares about his studies and all that. But on the court, I mean, he's been putting in the work. And since day one, he's got the opportunity to, as a freshman, to, I think, play six-man for that whole senior class that we had, 7 seniors, 8 seniors. So he's just been developing, and really we're going to bank on his experience and in fact, all of our experience to help us get a win.
Okay, we're almost done. Maybe a question or two.
Jesse Horn with CBS Channel 5, Cheyenne. I guess for any of you guys here, but seemed like with the last 3 games of the tournament being overtime, 2 points, basically it's combined 9 points in those 3 tournament games. Others, including myself, throughout the phrase survive and advance, but it doesn't seem like this was not probably the way you want to take this one. It's not even not surviving, but it's almost like, trying to conquer something here. What is that feeling like that it's been by the nail, like biting your nails to try and get every single one of these games? Has it kind of caught you by surprise? Josh, I'll give that one to you.
Josh.
For anybody that's watched Wyoming play ever, it's almost like every single game is like that. I mean, you look at our regular season, it's, okay, here 10 points, 12 points, 8 points, 4 points, triple overtime, 3 points, 6 points. So that's just our style of play. So, I mean, it's not really a survive and advance kind of situation for us. As far as we're concerned, we got the job done. And you know, that's why we're here, and we're just looking to, you know, go into this game and hopefully get another job done against an outstanding team in Northern Iowa with a lot of talent. So, you know, why wouldn't it be a nail biter?
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great job. We'll see you tomorrow.
Well, let me first take this chance to thank a wonderful group of guys. Maybe as wonderful a group on and off the court as I've ever been around in 40 years. And they've sort of taken us and put us on their shoulders, a group of assistant coaches who really will become terrific head coaches, and I hope someday soon, although we don't want to lose them, but a great group. And last but not least, Tom Berman and our school's administration for allowing the Shyatts to come back to a place that we felt really good about and hopefully continue down the right road.
Okay, open up for questions.
Tom Kinsler, Denver Post. Larry, what do you see in that matchup between Larry Nance and Tuttle? What are the keys for Nance?
Well, I don't know about commenting on a matchup between them because it's not a wrestling match, but I will tell you that they are similar in that they're both really gifted, unselfish big men. And kudos to Tuttle and his staff and team, as well as Larry. That's a great gift to be that unselfish. They don't look to take over games. The games come to them rather easily. He's versatile. He puts it on the deck. He's a great passer, and he makes shots. And most important of all, and most worrisome for an opposing team, he draws a lot of fouls.
Coach Andrew Logue with the Des Moines Register. What do you see in Northern Iowa's perimeter players? A lot of talk about Larry and Seth, but the guards and what Northern Iowa does on the perimeter.
Well, Ben and his staff have put together a great team. I got to tell you that everybody had told me day one, wow, they really have great shooters. They really can score the ball. They're really hard to guard. And I got to tell you, I'm not sure I've seen defensive statistics like that since our back-to-backs. I mean, they are a great, well-rounded team, and the perimeter is no different than the interior. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. When you're 9th in the country and 30-3, it's pretty hard to find warts.
Mike Varell, Casper Star Tribune. Coach, you know, you say happy is for March. You've said that a bunch. So, I mean, how do you balance with this team, wanting them to enjoy this moment, but also focus on the game ahead?
Well, I've tried to just lay out in front of them what they've done up to this point, and that those chapters are behind us. There's no sense in reflecting. How do you feel? Hey, how did this feel? It's over. And the time to reflect is after you complete whatever it is you can. I remind them also that every team in this tournament, as wonderful a tournament as it is, every team's going to lose but one. So let's just keep standing as long as we can.
Coach Jesse Horn with KGWN in Cheyenne. None of these players have had this kind of an experience with the NCAA tournament, but you have it as an assistant. Is there anything from those experiences that you've had in the past that you either can give these guys to expect with this week, or that you already have in bracing and preparing for this weekend?
Well, I think everybody's tournament, especially as well done as the Mountain West tournament is a really good, unique experience because you're finding out what one and done is all about and that type of pressure in terms of the games. And then with the background that our whole staff has had with national championships, Final Fours, and of course the dance, I think just making sure they know what to focus on and to stay away from you guys to make sure what not to focus on.
Matthew Fabian from the Branding Iron right over here, Coach. UNI is open to 7-point favorites for the game, which is similar to where the SDSU line was for the Mountain West Tournament Championship game. Are you taking a similar approach with the team, or is it completely different with this stage?
Our approach in this tournament is that we have a game, just like in the Mountain West tournament. And it would be nonsense to talk about a two-day tournament because there is no such animal if we don't perform well tomorrow morning. So that's really what I need to tell them. I'm pretty much a realist, and I want to make sure they understand, and they do understand. They probably play to the highest intellect of any team I've been around in 40 years.
Robert Gagliardi, the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. Larry, you said a lot. You trust this team about how its connectiveness, how it prepares, and obviously at the biggest stage for them this season. Have you seen that over the last couple of days, getting over the kind of euphoria of winning the Mountain West tournament and getting here? Have you seen that same type of connectiveness and focus?
Absolutely have. And I got to tell you that this may be as healthy as this ball club's been in a while. I mean, they hurdled some obstacles in February with our best player and our sixth man suffering from mono. They seem to be better. I don't know if they're 100%, but they certainly seem to be better. I think we'll have a good bounce in our step tomorrow morning.
Tom Kinsler, Denver Post. Larry, you and I play maybe a similar style to you guys in a lot of ways. Defensive philosophy maybe doesn't really race up and down the court. Is that an advantage, or do you think it's more of an advantage to Wyoming when you play somebody with a contrasting style?
Well, it's a great question. I'm not sure I've ever looked at it that way. It's usually just about, okay, what do they do best? What can we possibly take away from them on the defensive end? And then what do they do best defensively? And what are we going to need to win the game? Try to be simple with our guys. And like I said before, I've got a great level of respect. But the reason I trust our guys is they will show Northern Iowa a high level of respect as well.
Coach, over here on your left, Greg Bell, the Tacoma News Tribune. What do you recall about the recruitment of Larry Nance, and what competition you had, and what you think ultimately got him to Laramie?
Well, Larry was a late bloomer, and I met Senior when I was the head coach at Clemson. I brought back a lot of our lottery picks one weekend. We had just a great Hall of Fame weekend with Sharon Wright, Dale Davis, Eldon Campbell, Tree Rollins, to name a few. And so I had met him, and my college roommate, Tim Babb, actually called me and said, hey, Nance's kid is going to be pretty good. He's not being overly recruited, Mid-American Conference. And so I quickly called Senior. Any chance, the day after I got the job, any chance we can fly in for a home visit? He said yes. Janie was not real happy about Wyoming for obvious reasons. But you know what? We had 3 hours together, the 6 dogs, the Nance family. I've said this before, it's a breath of fresh air after being at the BCS level for 25 years. They represent everything there is good about family values and college basketball. And we're fortunate that Larry, on his own, independent of them, chose to get away to go to university.
Coach, hey, John Boyle with the Everett Herald. You just referred to Larry as a late bloomer. How much, compared to maybe a typical college player, has he developed in 4 years because he was so late to kind of grow into himself?
Our whole team is more a developmental team. I think our assistants have done a great job. You know, to be a great recruiter sometimes, it's not so much who you think you can get and how you sneak behind the bushes. It's who you know perhaps that you cannot get, and you don't waste time. So we have an entire team of guys that I think personally our assistant coaches have done a great job of developing. They've gone from a small embarrassment academically to 8 straight semesters over a 2.8 as a team. And you know what? It does count. And they probably are emblematic of a team that's gotten better, wanted to go to a university like the old days for 4 or 5 years and be a piece of something special rather than 6 or 7 months.